While Little Witch Nobeta seems on the surface to be a cute little Souls-style game, if you pick this one up expecting Dark Souls Magic Edition, you're not going to get what you want. For a sub 10 hour long indie game, it shows both the limitations and charm of a small team. While the castle, which is most of the game's tile set, is fine, full of dolls and ghosts which make for a creepy cute vibe, it does have a little bit of variety between each area. One level has plenty of lava pits while another has glowing mushroom caverns. There is no map, though areas are not too large. However, there are a few unique features which make it fairly easy to navigate a game like Dark Souls. If there's one critique of the game that stands above others, it is the level design, both in layout and visuals. Exploration involves various things, from simply observing areas looking for platforms to jump on, to using magic to trigger devices, and plenty of false walls. And usually there's a decent permanent reward, such as upgrading a spell or inventory slot for healing items. Some of these things are not overly clear, and the exploration aspect of the game felt closest to something like original Doom. Not necessary, but still helpful. If there's something a bit suspicious, there's often a trick to getting to it that requires a bit of thinking. Nobeta feels like a PS2 era retro adventure game in many ways, though it does have some nice artistic guidance to parts of it, with some cute boss designs, a nice soundtrack and voice acting, and plenty of charming touches with cutscenes largely between the title witch and her sassy cat. Particle effects are dated, and some of the animations look a few generations old, and these things portray funding well below big gaming corporations, though there's still more expression and less dead-eye than your typical Bethesda game. Combat and difficulty are heavily linked in this game. There are 2 difficulties, and New Game Plus is like a Souls game where it increases the challenge. You can use Souls to level up 5 stats, which are basically health, stamina, casting speed, physical power, and magic power. The lower difficulty makes the game quite easy. Though enemies can still hit quite hard, most of them are fairly low health, and you rarely risk running out of magic, letting you play the game more like Doom, room-to-room spells blazing. There are benefits to using magic with either manual aim or the standard Souls target locking, and there are charged spells which cost more, deal more damage, and change up what the spell does. For example, the lightning spell is like a sniper rifle, but you can charge it to create an AoE storm instead. On high difficulty though, the mana regen system is vital to keep casting, since foes take long enough to defeat that you will empty your supply several times against elites and bosses. Mana regenerates in a few ways, destroying pots or enemies, using melee attacks, and perfect dodges, increasing the risk substantially to the point where it feels like a different game entirely. Combat is immersive. As a small witch, your physical attacks aren't threatening. You trip if you run out of energy, and can be easily sent flying by enemies. Due to needing to engage with the more challenging melee system on hard, it greatly changes the feel of a game in a way that difficulties normally don't do, forcing you to play in more risky ways. The game feels a bit different from both a Souls or a shooter, and can take some getting used to, but is fine once you do. I had to spend time fiddling with camera speed and distance as the defaults were extremely sensitive. Overall, this has some Souls traits, but do not buy this thinking it is Dark Souls. It is not that. It is a cute and creepy adventure shooter. It feels retro and is definitely an indie game, but it is enjoyable for what it is and mostly well thought out. It has a few things that are lacking, such as map and environment design, is bare bones for story, but has some charm to interactions and its minimalism. Solid indie game. Can recommend to someone looking for a comfy niche game. The combat and exploration was fun, and it is a good game for a small audience. Little Witch Nobeta earns a 7 out of 10. Hey, did you like that video? If you did, be sure to let us know by clicking the like button and leaving a comment. If you want to be first in line for any new content, be sure to subscribe to our channel, and then hit up our Facebook page. The link's in the description below to see what's coming up next.